If this is prime selling space from comfortable reach to the knees, and this is the buy zone from eyes to the waist, why are you putting products here? They will be hard to reach for customers who are shopping. It's a trip hazard for shoppers. It's perceived as less valuable when it's on the floor or way down below. It can look shop worn. It's only visible from a distance. It shares dust bunny space, and floor cleaning is not possible. Most retailers don't have a product problem, they have a placement problem. And my mantra is don't discount display. With the right merchandising, products look new again, attracting customers without the need for discounts. Check out my top 4 merchandising methods, The Organized Retailer, which is a free PDF book, and you can find it on todaysdisplays.com or in a clickable link below in the description. The results of placement by organizing your retail space has these benefits. The Organized Retailer is a transformation of Velda's store. It's a case study of her store. Learn how I helped Velda increase store traffic and boost sales by 70% in 3 years until she successfully sold her business. She said she had more productive staff, every item had a place, reducing wasted steps and maximizing efficiency. We had organized her supplies, saving her time and preventing over-purchasing and improving workflow. We had engaging displays. The customers browsed longer, they found add-ons easily, and they spent more. And then streamlined customer service with faster checkouts and strategic merchandising ensured seasonal sell-through. My name is Linda McKendry, and I am a collaborator with clients who are independent retailers, and I use the proven concepts with constraints of time and money. Let's look at some placement problems, and then I'll show you ways to bring them into prime selling space. Why are you putting products here? At the entrance, this is a store that I went to evaluate, and right away when you walk in, here's the door. You can see that if you were coming in the winter with salt and boots and snow, if you were coming in with a stroller, you need an entrance zone, staging area at the entrance zone where there's nothing there. Just like in your home, when people walk in and your guests walk in, they need a little place to move around before they actually come right into the store. So putting products right there, they might look okay from the window there, but they're not shoppable. The other thing to notice is that by the time a customer comes to here, they actually can reach things a little bit more. And when you notice back here that there is almost a little alcove, you know that everything could be moved back and there could be more space at the front here. This is another example in the aisles. The aisles are for the customers. I worked as a manager in a department store for years in merchandising and display, and the owner always said, the aisles belong to the customer, so don't put anything in the aisles. But nowadays, if the aisles are wide enough, yes, you can put things in the aisles. Why are you putting products here? So we can see that prime selling space is from knees to eye level. This represents that. This area represents that. But when we build out like this and we get to this point, other than customers walking around this side being able to reach over and get things, nobody is going to attempt to walk in here and reach things on this side. For the sake of the window here, this might look really good. But for the sake of the shopper on the inside, this is dangerous. It's a trip hazard. And there are too many things that might get broken if they stepped on it or kicked it by mistake. So nobody is going to go back in there. We look here at another example in the same store actually, and the thing here is this tray on the floor. Now a couple of things happening. One is that you can reach over and maybe pick up the tray to see how much it is if the price is on the back instead of the front, but you are going to have to then put the tray back again if you're choosing not to take it. In the meantime, if you're interested in these things on this side, you can't get around to the back again without a trip hazard. In order to look at these dishes. And my rule is anything you have for sale on a feature display, which is where you cross merchandise and put things together and create a theme, which they have here, means that everything on that table must have home base somewhere else. Somewhere else, all these dishes should be lined up on a shelf, clearly priced, easy to shop, easy to see, easy to handle, easy to check out, easy to compare. But that when they come to the table here, there should be only one of each of them on display. when you look at the tablecloth here that has a tag on it, just imagine that you or the customer coming in and wanting to purchase that. It's exactly what you've been looking for. Now what has to happen? How much stuff is going to have to be removed? And it's all very delicate stuff. You don't want it breaking. And how long is it going to take? So these are things that we take a look at all the time. And one reason why we do not want things down on the floor. This is a slide I showed before in another video. You can see I was talking about comfortable reach. I'm talking about prime selling space from eyes to knees. And then my question is always, how much stuff is below the knees? And again, it's sharing space with dust bunnies. This gentleman has long arms, so he doesn't have to worry so much about trying to get in closer to reach something he's interested in. Over here, we find somebody crouched down, which not a lot of us can do. And you can see that even at that level, there are still things under her that are below the knee level. How does a customer compare products in a place like this? Firstly, why make the shopper have to ask for help, look for more color pattern styles, check the different prices, fold or unfold items, move stuff to get to it, risk breakage, and put items back as found? This is what we're asking the customer to do when we have things displayed like this. In my opinion, this is more like a museum. It's like a fancy garage sale look. And the point is, if you have women who are coming by on the weekend and they have nothing to do, they're just browsing, shopping, looking at something that might appeal to them. But if they're in the market for something and you've got them there, but you have them scattered all over, and they have to go looking in that many places, they may get tired. They may not want to shop there. And they may feel like they're more in a museum than in a store where things are for sale. How is the customer supposed to navigate safely? In a corner, now there are a pair of shoes down here on a little stand. That makes a little bit of sense. When you look down and see shoes, that's kind of where we are okay with seeing shoes. But walking into the corner there, again, and this was a perfumery. She sold perfumes, and that is her main product is the perfumes. All these other products were more like accessories and add-ons. This is another example. How about around the corner? You can see that anyone coming around here with a stroller might be tempted not to come around this corner and not to navigate it. Does it ever make sense to put things low? Well, yes, if there's overstock. But when I look at this, you think when you look quickly, you see everything that's up here has a backup stock down here. Not really, because up here we have these square vases and containers, so we don't have any of them here. Down here we have square ones that we don't have any up here. So we're asking the customer to bend down and take them up off the floor. Now, having them in a basket is kind of a fun way to kind of cluster things and put them together. It's very unique. But at the same time, you would not be able to, you could maybe pull the basket out and look at them closer, but lifting the basket with that much heavy stuff in would probably not be a good idea. For window shoppers, okay, a lot of times we put things down low because they're seen from a distance, or we put things down low because the shopper's going to walk by. If they're walking by and not coming in, they can look down as they walk by and they see interesting things. So that's one reason why you would do it. So there always has to be a reason. Otherwise, it's just product that is sitting on the floor. Does it ever make sense to put things low? Again, yes, if you're showing the natural use. Which these are lawn ornament. And I want to point out, this is a client of mine, I want to point out that their sign is designed to look upwards so that people walking by can easily see the details and the pricing on that product. Very effective. Here's an example of where, yes, this is the product that would be shown on the floor because that's kind of where it is in its natural use. I say no to this. I believe that when the Christmas trees are put on one side or higher up and all the ornaments that are available are in a skinny shelf unit beside them, that's much more effective. You'll sell a whole bunch more. Even though they are off the floor on a platform, this is still not going to sell as much as you want it to. Put products in prime selling space with props. Now I always say use products for props and cross merchandise. You'll sell more of each of those when you do that. In this case here, we have lawn picks, and they're in an urn, and over here we have a rain barrel, and we've got the tiki lamps in there, And so these are working together, but they're both products of this client. And here we have the straw being used to hold up the beautiful decorative lawn ornaments. Again, it's not having them laying down low anywhere where people have to reach and pick them up, or they're even going to fall over. They're up high so that they're above the knee and they're in prime selling space and they're easy to reach. Put products in prime selling space using boxes, especially boxes that products come in. This is a little before and an after in a hat shop that I had for a client, and I had spent about 2 days in here putting some things together, making some changes. And you can see here talking about the lower below the knee space floor. You can see here the hat boxes here with items on them that aren't even hats. This one is, and that it's impeding your ability to get over to the wall. So you can see what I did here is that we cleared the space here, stacked these boxes over here, and then here I took 3 sizes of box, a large, medium, small, kind of like a wedding cake idea, and then I put the hat stand on top. So instead of sitting way down here, you can see that it's sitting up higher and it looks better, and we freed up some space on the floor. While I'm here talking about plants, plants are perfectly normal to be displayed on a floor, even if you sell plants. That seems to work because that can sometimes be their normal place. The same client was in a design center, beautiful old building. We made sure that her sign was here. I actually moved her sign on the T-bar ceiling so that it was under this light before you couldn't read it. But I also took her hat boxes and made risers out of them in the hall so that they'd be more visible as you're coming down the hall. You would want to stop and shop. It would be the same thing as putting things out on a sidewalk to get more attention. And that's what I did there to use the boxes. So we put products in prime selling space with platforms. Now, hanging garments so that they almost touch the floor is a very normal way to merchandise in that area. However, in this hospital gift shop, this in North York that I designed for them, I made sure they had platforms there, just in case anything fell off there. It would not fall off in the dirt. And then the cleaners could come along and clean this floor without touching any of the products in there. And that's really something to consider and think about. Here's an example of another client, and when they wanted to go into the bathroom, these are some of the things I recommended, that they would build a little kiosk and put them on a platform. And you can see that the platforms have a toe space around. That really makes it comfortable for a customer to come and stand closer and to be able to look at what's been designed there for them. Put products in prime selling space using storage unit. This is one of my all-time favorite things to do in a really small store. You know, in a small store where you have maybe only one staff at a time, they cannot be running into a back room to grab gift boxes or to grab backup stock and things like that. So when you design things this way, firstly, you bring everything up to prime selling space, which is here, comfortable reach from the knees or just below the waist. And then you have storage in here. And I want to point out too, I love to do this in front of slat wall, because slat wall is a very, very versatile, beautiful fixture system to use. You'll see when you look closely here that these are separate units. They're all separate units. They're designed and built with the toe space so that they can be moved, and they're portable, and you could actually rearrange this whole shop at this hospital with the exception of the built-in reception counter or the sales counter. And here's an example too in a different hospital gift shop where, again, I'm using bases in the bottom with a toe space for storage. And again, it brings the product up above the floor into comfortable reach. And in the case of this one, we've also color blocked it, and we are using what we call vertical merchandising. And those are different videos that I have on those subjects. Put products in prime selling space using bases. Here's an example in my client's hardware store, and you can see the nice bases that they have here for their paint, especially when it's on promotion and on sale. And one of the key things here is not only bringing this product up to into prime selling space. As we all know, the paint can is easier to pick up when it's not right on the floor. But the other thing is cleaning this floor is going to not ever affect the product. You're never going to have mop marks all over the labels on a product that's been sitting on the floor. And also when you have custom-made fixtures, which these are for their paint, you can see that again they're making storage and putting it on a base, making storage, and then making it easier to shop. Also, fixtures on bases. You saw this picture before, but I want to show you an example. This is an example of these types of fixtures that are barely off the floor at all. This was a shop that I did. It was a beautiful gift and garden center. And we had these platforms built and made so that they could put these low fixtures on top of them. You still had comfortable reach, but you were protecting it and again enabling cleaning. So these are the things that we consider all the time. Put products in prime selling space using fixtures. Now fixtures are, they're all over the place. I'm going to do my next video in this playlist is actually about fixtures and only fixtures. So here you're seeing built-in fixtures, which are walls. And I want to point out that there is no wasted space in them and you can add more product. Above comfortable reach is where you have display, then you have the backup stock, and in this case on the floor they've got baskets, and this is okay to put baskets or containers on the floor in this situation. But keep in mind again that cleaning here, maybe if you're just sweeping it's not bad, but if you're mopping you may not want to have those on the floor. And these are fixtures as well. They're often nesting tables, or it'll be a table or a stand of one kind with a riser or an item that goes on top just to give it a little bit more height and bring more product to prime selling space. This is an example of a custom-made fixture. Again, it's portable, it's off the floor. And what I really like about this, and this was designed with my help, is where the products are on display here. And even though this is low, the product's here, but the boxes for the product are over here. So you can see the product, touch and feel, and then it's in a box here or it's in a box here. So this is a beautiful way in which to display. On a different slide, I have the other side showing you the same thing is on the other side. So this is a two-sided, and on this side we're showing the color. On the other side, they're showing all the off-white and cream. So they're telling two different stories, same product, same department, and it's beautifully done. Put products in prime selling space with furnishings. Now here's an example of a tea room way up in Northern Ontario that we turned in 2 days. We turned it into a little gift shop in the tea room. And we didn't eliminate any tables either. We still had the same amount of seating. It was really fun. So you can see here that she had some furnishing pieces there. We took advantage of all of them to use them. Even here we've got the teddy bears in their own little kids' chair, so they're not on the floor. Baskets on the floor, like I've said, are okay. This is actually quite acceptable for vacuuming, no different than it would be in your home if these were there. So this is a good example of that. And anything that isn't part of her furniture collection was actually bought from IKEA and installed and on site and put in here. So that's all working. Here's an example of a jam cupboard. This was actually in an antique store, and they were very reluctant to take this old thing that had chicken wire on the doors on the top here. And I just convinced them. I said, well, you know, in the long run, are you going to make more money for the museum? Because this was a shop that raised funds for the museum. Are you going to make more money selling jam off this to support the museum? Or are you going to make money off one old cupboard that needs a lot of help? So they listened to me, and I also recommended that they paint it this cherry red, because most of the jams, we think of jam, we often think of the cherry color. And I'm getting carried away talking about things that I cover in other videos. Anyhow, you can see here again too, we've got storage and backup stock below it, and everything here in prime selling space. Most retailers don't have a product problem, as I have already told you. They have a placement problem, and I'm hoping that in this playlist called Prime Selling Space that by the time you've watched all 5 of them, you will have a really good idea of where you need to place your products and your signs and why they need to be where I'm recommending that they go. So I will talk to you soon and see you in the next video. Bye.